Excellent. All right, welcome everybody. This is our animal care webinar. So Box Hill Institute has a range of animal industry pathways and careers and courses that you can enroll in. We're going to talk to you about a lot of them in this one. The number one that we are not necessarily speaking a great deal about in this one, but is at a later point, is veterinary nursing. But all of these courses can potentially lead you towards that as well, if that is your chosen course. Cool. All right, let's get started. Katie, I don't know if you flicked over, but I can't.
I can.
Oh, amazing. Thank you.
All right, and then we'll do, there you go.
Amazing. So Box Hill Institute, for anyone who hasn't studied it with us before, we are offering, well, I mean, I'm a bit biased, but we offer super flexible and super industry aligned quality education in all of our courses. Our education that we offer here is, as a TAFE Institute, we're offering education about working in industry, so workplace training essentially, and how for you, how you can be really, finding your career path, but then being really instrumental within your chosen career area. Our staff are industry experts and they're pretty phenomenal. We work with a lot of them. And those are some of the reasons that Box Hill is, I think, one of our favourite provider, and I think probably is hopefully going to be yours as well. And hopefully that means that we'll welcome you into one of our courses in 2022. So my name is Marcy Connor. I'm one of the course coordinators, and the other person who's with me today is Katie Rutherford. She's one of the other course coordinators as well. Awesome. So we have a bit of a point of difference with Box Hill. We really focus on the fact that we're providing job skills within our courses, and a huge percentage of students are already employed or are employed within the first 6 months after exiting their chosen course. We have a lot of industry engagement, so that might look like our teachers working both vocationally within their chosen area and also teaching you. It might look like us inviting industry experts in to have a chat to you, so you're not just hearing from people who are solely in the classroom. You're also hearing from people that you're likely to meet or have in kind of contact with as you are out in the industry. We're really big believers on making sure that you're passionate about the course that you're enrolling into and exploring those kinds of pathways as well, to make sure that you are finding where you might want to go, even if you've attended today and you're not entirely sure yet, but you're just really interested in working with animals. Cool. Awesome. So the first course that I'm going to talk to you about today is the Certificate 2 in Animal Care. Now, I'm put the course code there, not because it makes a huge amount of sense to anyone who maybe is not 100% familiar with it, but because this is a new course that we are offering in 2022. We have delivered the current version and it's a brand new update. So we are offering the most current of the courses in this area. However, the difference between what's currently advertised, unfortunately, is the old version, and the difference between this and the new version, which we will be offering in 2022 in terms of course structure, is actually not that different. The units have been updated, but we've found a really nice little niche amount of on-campus and off-campus time, so we're going to continue with that. So we deliver this course in partnership with the RSPCA, so a lot of your classes and most of your practicals are actually undertaken at the RSPCA in Burwood. So this is delivered as a very intensive 16-week course. There are 10 teaching sessions of about a day in length, and these take place for about 2 days per week for 5 weeks at the initial component or the initial start of the course. After that, you begin conducting your practical sessions with the optional twice weekly study groups that we offer as well, to make sure that you're keeping up with all of the assessments and that you have a really nice touch point with all of our assessors. They are all completely contactable at any point, but getting together with a bunch of your peers is really beneficial. You then undertake 7 practical sessions. 6 occur at the RSPCA and 1 occurs at the Box Hill Institute Elgar campus, which is only around the corner from the RSPCA in Burwood, so really close by. We do about 3 intakes per year. The first intake is normally around the March area, and it's really a course, given that it's so intensive and given that there's not a huge commitment in terms of face-to-face time, it's designed for students who are already really working full-time, either in the industry that they want or in their current industry or their current career path, or those who want to gain a prerequisite really quickly because they might want to go into something like veterinary nursing, and they really need that prerequisite course. People who maybe really want to either experience the RSPCA and working within that environment, or who want to experience or gain exposure to a real wide range of sectors and animal industry jobs. So at the RSPCA, they have customer service because they have the pet shop, they have the reception area, they have the clinic area, they have kennels, catteries, they have a barn. So you gain exposure with working with a huge number of animals and from a huge number of vantage points as well. Now, this course is actually really helpful for people who also don't know where they want to take their industry career. So it's kind of one of those really beautiful courses that can either quickly push you in the right direction for where you know you want to go, or help you potentially locate where it is in the animal industry that you'd like to end up. Cool. So here's some of our students now. So we've got some students on the left-hand side, one of our students out in the barn or the paddock areas, some students in the kennels in the middle, and one of our students even on the right working with our education bunnies. So you'll experience a really wide range of animal-orientated work during your time in this course. So where could this qualification take you? As a graduate from this course, you could work as an animal attendant or an animal carer. You might then work potentially as an animal bather or a washer, so a very junior position within perhaps a pet grooming or hydrobathing area, a pet shop worker, or an animal care customer service worker as well, because there is certainly that component in the course. You might want to use this course, like I said, as a prerequisite for Certificate 4 in veterinary nursing, or you could even pathway into one of the next courses I'm going to talk about, the Certificate 3 in animal care services, which has 2 specialisations that we offer at Box Hill in 2022, either animal care or pet grooming. Here's one of our education dogs with one of our previous students. So again, another species that you would be handling within this course. Wonderful. So that was our Certificate 2 in animal care with the RSPCA. Our next course that I'm going to tell you about is the Certificate 3 in animal care services, specialising in animal care. And I'll pause for a minute because look at our very sweet education guinea pigs. Here's one of actually the campus that I'm at the moment. Here's one of our beautiful pens. So our students work a lot with these animals, either providing enrichment or nutrition, doing health checks, things like that. All right. So here's one of a big point of difference. So again, I put the course code on that previous page because we are currently delivering the current version of this course, and this is a brand new course to us in 2022. So the current version is Certificate 3 in Animal Studies. The new version with the numbers 2-1 at the end indicating 2021 is Certificate 3 in Animal Care Services, and we're offering a specialisation in animal care. Now, for anyone who perhaps has had a look at the website or maybe has had friends do the Certificate 3 in Animal Studies with us before, the courses are the same outcome as in you are getting that Certificate 3 and it's headed down that animal studies area. However, the differences are quite marked. So the current course is 12 units and has a kind of historically been done as 1 day per week for about 12 months. The new course is 17 units in length, so it's quite a lot more. And because of that huge increase, we are offering this as a 12-month delivery. So you come for 12 months, 2 semesters, and you must attend 2 days per week. Lilydale is going to have a class Monday and Thursday starting semester 1 in 2022. Olga is going to have an intake that is for Tuesday and Friday starting in 2022 in semester 1. There may be an additional intake for term 2 or semester 2, depending on numbers. So that's good to know. And just to keep in mind that given that we have those huge number of units that have previously not been in there, and that we have quite a practical course in that we want you to have that hands-on experience, those days you must attend both days. Cool. So where can this particular course take you? Well, this one gives you options as a veterinary assistant, an animal carer, an animal welfare worker, perhaps moving into the animal shelter, kennel or cattery area, working within reception and customer service, perhaps heading towards the pet grooming areas, pet exercising and minding, so working at doggy daycares and doing dog walking, pet shop working, and can even pitch you, if that's your chosen direction, towards working within community health sectors as well. This is a very good prerequisite for the Certificate 4 in veterinary nursing, and certainly you could pathway into things like veterinary nursing and also maybe a diploma of animal technology or into any other direction that you would prefer. Excellent, thank you. I think this is the last slide for this section. I will just say, for those of you who are attending today who have perhaps applied already and have done all aspects of your enrolment or are undertaking all aspects of your enrolment and had initially applied for, say, our previous courses, so the Certificate 3 in Animal Studies specialising in animal care, or the Certificate 3 in Animal Studies specialising in veterinary nursing, this is the new version of this course. So it's a new national course. If you have already undertaken your application, as in you have started filling in forms, you have started doing our LLN testing or our core skills diagnostic profile, and you're part of the way or fully complete and simply just waiting for your enrolment, over coming days you will receive an email from our student recruitment area asking you to indicate whether, given the change in course, you would like to continue but switch over to the new version and change your enrolment towards that new pathway, or B, have a chat to somebody and see what else might suit you, or C, something else. They will give you a few options. So if you've already gotten your way through your inquiries and your enrolment process, then don't panic. You will hear from us very shortly. If you are interested in this course and you would still like to put your name down and begin an application, at the moment, this course is not up on our website, but the old version is. And if you inquire under that, then you will be on the right pathway, and you'll also get an email at some point asking you to make a decision about moving your application into the new version of the course. Thanks, Katie.
Okay, whoops, I jumped ahead. So we're going to talk about Certificate 3 Animal Care Services Pet Grooming. So the Cert 3 that Marcy was just talking about and pet grooming that I'm about to talk about are actually under the one umbrella. The electives just are different. So if you go down the pet grooming stream, you'll be doing a certain lot of pet grooming electives that are required to become a Certificate 3 Animal Care Services Pet Groomer. So that is superseding the Certificate 3 in Pet Grooming, which we delivered this year and are now in Teach Out for. So if you're in the same situation where you've applied for pet grooming, we will be in touch with you probably early next year, and we will transition you over so that you can enrol into the new qualification. So this will be a 6 to 9 month delivery. We're still trying to work out the logistics of this because it is so new. We're hoping to start our intake in approximately April or May for this particular course. It will be at our Elga campus. Our Elga campus has a fully functional grooming salon that is attached to our fully functional veterinary clinic. So we do have clients who come in and I apologise for my bird in the background there. We do have clients who come in and bring their dogs, so you are working with external clients, so you get that whole aspect of working with the public and in a fully functional grooming salon. The days of the week will be Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Friday. We're still a little bit tentative about how best to work it. We're trying with the new course really to work out what's going to be best, because there are some significant changes in this one. So it could end up being 3 days a week with potential of doing 4 days a week every second week. But we are just currently working that out, and I will try and have that information up for you as much as possible very, very soon. If you're wanting to do vet nursing, you can do, just because there's a question there, you can literally do Certificate 2. You can do either of the Certificate 3. So you could do Certificate 3 in Animal Care Services, Certificate 3 in Animal Care Services, Animal Care, or Certificate 3 Animal Care Services Pet Grooming will also tick that box for you. The main prerequisite is that you've got an animal course that entails animal handling. So all of those courses are suitable for your prerequisite for getting into veterinary nursing, along with having that position working as a veterinary nurse. So I'm sorry, I'm a little bit vague on the pet grooming and the specific structure, but there are some significant changes. It is now a 17-unit course with some changes to the actual practicals, which is what we're kind of working through at the moment. So that intake, as I said, will be April or May. So the job outcomes for Certificate 3 Animal Care Services Pet Grooming is that you will be an assistant groomer. It is still a junior position as far as an outcome is. You could be an assistant pet stylist, so you will learn the basics of styling, and you can become, obviously you will be qualified as a junior pet groomer. So this is really working towards a junior position, because in the pet grooming industry, once you work, and a lot of our students tend to get positions either straight after or during the course, it sort of takes roughly 4 to 5 years to really find your feet and really sort of make sure that all those grooming techniques that you learn really become defined, and that's where you really learn on the job. As I said before, it can be a prerequisite to Certificate 4 in veterinary nursing, and can also be a pathway into Diploma of Animal Tech as well. Okay. Do we want to just, before we move on to Certificate 4 in Companion Animals, Marcy, do we want to just clear up all of the questions about Cert 3?
Awesome. Yeah, I'm more than happy. That's fine. So I will clear some up. So there were some great questions in the chat. Thank you so much, Stephanie. So Certificate 3 in Animal Studies, specialising in veterinary skills was currently, I'm here today finishing the final prac for that course. It is a very popular stream. The new industry standard is the Certificate 3 Animal Care Services, which is why we've moved to offering this. So that would be the one that you would use as, I guess, the equivalent. You will be taught by a range of people, a lot of veterinary nurses, but you'll also gain exposure to various other people who are working in other careers for people who have been working in the animal industry as well. So we have people who are pet grooming coming and teaching. We have people who are animal technicians coming to teach some of your units. We have people who work in behaviour related areas coming to teach many of your units. We have people who have worked as animal attendants teaching your units. So you will gain a huge amount of industry experience from there. However, even though it doesn't have the brackets and veterinary nursing in the name, it is still setting you up to be able to enroll in the Certificate for Veterinary Nursing if that's your chosen pathway. So that's a really good question. The other question that I quite often get is, Certificate 2 Animal Care, and Certificate 3 Animal Care Services specializing in animal care. How do you decide between the two? And the answer is really individual. What I can say is that there is not a huge amount of face-to-face teaching time, or what is face-to-face teaching time is quite intensive in the Certificate 2 Animal Care. Often Certificate 2s are done between around about, they take usually about 12 months. And this is a 16-week course. So you can imagine how intensive it is. You really need to be quite a self-starter and to remain motivated even when you're not on campus. The Certificate 3 in Animal Care Services, Animal Care, has a lot more units, so you'll get a huge amount of learning and knowledge. It is face-to-face in that you will either be doing classes physically on campus, and you'll do some theory on campus. You'll also do some theory remotely, so via Teams or like Zoom, and then you will have really big workshop days as well where you'll practice all of your skills and put everything into practice. So that's a lot of face-to-face time. You'll still have a lot that you need to do outside of class, as with every Certificate 3. It's a standard level, and we really need you to make sure that you're keeping up with both learning, revision, and assessments outside. However, if you're someone who really needs the support ongoing of attending every week and making sure that you're in class, that's probably a really good option for you as well. The other differences between obviously the benefits of working at the RSPCA, you might see things like shelter medicine, you might see things like or speak to people who perhaps work as RSPCA inspectors, or you'll gain that advantage as well. So if you already know that that might be your headed path, then that might be a difference in choice for you. Or it might be that you really are not sure and you'd like to take some time over the next 12 months to really expose yourself to various areas.
Marcy, just to catch you up on that, Madison asked, she wants to become a vet nurse, and it may be something that you might want to potentially take offline and have a really good chat with Madison about. She's actually in a wheelchair, and I've not worked in a veterinary clinic for a very, very long time, so I'm going to leave that one with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Madison, what I might do is I'm going to pop my email or our admin email in the chat, and maybe we can tee up a time to have a chat, because I'm sure that there's a lot of individual or individualized circumstances, and then we can have a chat about what is attainable, what you might want to do, why you might want to do that, and then I can find other things if that doesn't necessarily work for you, or how to get you to that point. So I can definitely do that. And I think Katie, I saw you were typing. I'll pop the email in 2 seconds.
I can do that in a second. I was just answering another question.
Isabel, you've said how many campus days would the Cert 3 be? So the Certificate 3 in Animal Care specialising in Animal Care Services specialising in animal care is 2 days a week for 12 months. Katie, I forgot the days.
Elga will be Monday and Thursday. No,
August, Tuesday and Friday, and Lily Dale's Monday and Thursday.
Thank you. We got that.
Settled that today. So 2 days a week, and they must be attended, whether they're remote learning or face-to-face learning, depending on the time. Stephanie, so if you've already done an application, so if you've done an application for Certificate 3 Animal Studies, either stream, the animal care or the specialising in vet nursing, which are the old ones, you will receive an email probably sometime this week just asking you to indicate, would you like to switch your application to the new version, and then you can reply and work with our student admin area to make sure that they just kind of filter you into the right direction. So you won't need to do another application. They will change it on our end. And Jessica, I think that's answered your question as well. I'm trying to catch up. Mia, if you're talking about sorry, I think Katie's already answered. Never mind.
Yeah, so normally we do actually teach Certificate 3 in Animal Studies at night. We're in teach out for the first 6 months for the old course in that. that will give us a significant period of time to work out whether this course is actually going to be viable at night, how we might do it, how we can run it, and actually how long it's going to be. Because as we said, this has jumped from a 12-unit course to a 17-unit course. So it is significantly larger. And I'm not at this stage terribly convinced that I can run it over 2 nights per week and get you through 17 units. I think it would at the very least be an 18-month course if it was at night, just because of experiences that we have. For instance, the current Certificate 3 in Captive Animals is a 16-unit course, which this year we ran remotely at night, 1 night a week, and it was extremely intense, and I would not want to do that to my students again, but we live and learn. So Marcy just mentioned the days, Stephanie. Yep, Tuesday and Friday for 12 months, and the other group is going to be a Tuesday, Thursday.
Monday, Thursday.
Monday, Thursday, sorry.
I'll put it in the chat so that anyone can see. Thank you. Same length of time.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think we got to the end of the questions for now. If you think of others, put them in the chat. We'll come to it. Katie will talk about her Cert 4 and companion animal services, and just keep putting stuff in the chat as you think of it, and we can scroll up and keep answering.
So Certificate 4 and Companion Animal Services, like all of our other courses, is being superseded. We are in the fortunate position of being able to offer 1 more intake. So there will only be 1 more intake. We will not be taking part-time students. So you will be required to attend 2 days a week. It will be running Monday and Tuesday at our Elga campus. I do need to let you know, though, that it's kind of like a one-time offer. There will be no opportunity to repeat a unit because we are in teach out, so we have to finish all of our units this year. So we're looking at running this course between February and the end of October, with being able to, or the end of November really, sort of finish somewhere between October and November. So yes, this is something that you're going to need to be very passionate about and very committed to, because as I said, we're not going to be able to offer units in 2023 at all. So yes, we're kind of a bit stuck. So it is a really great course though. As I said, 2 days a week for 12 months. With this one, though, we actually specialise in behaviour. So you do 2 units that last for the whole 12 months. We do identify and respond to animals and assist with conditioning. So you actually learn to train your animals, and you will learn techniques that will allow you to train anything from a goldfish to an elephant. So this can take you to a lot of different places. You can work with councils. We've had students go and work with customs dogs, work in breeding facilities such as police dogs with their breeding areas, animals in behaviour and training. So some of our students have gone on to teach puppy school as well as teach more advanced training as well. We've had students go on to teach animals into industries like television and advertisement. You can work with assistance animals. You'll be able to work in an aquarium. You can do a whole variety of different things. You can use this as a prerequisite to veterinary nursing if you would like to. And some of our students move from Certificate 4 Companion into our Diploma of Animal Technology as well. Just looking at the questions, you've got it all covered, Marcy, so that's awesome.
Yeah, all right.
Our next course that we are going to briefly discuss is Diploma of Animal Technology. This is one that's close to my heart. Marcy is a wonderful qualified vet nurse. I am a qualified animal tech, and we will both talk about our industries and each other's industries quite passionately. So the Diploma of Animal Tech is an 18-month course. The first year is quite intense. It's 3 days a week. It's Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. And it's a Monday afternoon and evening delivery in second year for just 6 months. This course predominantly gets you into animal research. So all of those of you who have had the COVID vaccine, you have benefited from our animal techs around the world working really hard with all of our animal heroes that help us develop new medications, develop knowledge of diseases and all of those sorts of things. It is a really rewarding industry, and we are there to advocate for the animals. So we make sure all of our researchers tick all the boxes that they need to meet all their ethical requirements, and we make sure that our animals that we work with, whether they be mice or fish or dogs and cats or primates or any of those sorts of things, that they are well looked after and well cared for. So the job outcomes for a Diploma of Animal Technology graduate, you become an animal technician first off, can work your way up to a senior animal technician or a facility manager. It can also be a springboard across to the Bachelor of Science at Deakin and also the Bachelor of Veterinary Biosciences at La Trobe University. The majority of our students do get casual positions in the first year. We try to ask them to avoid getting full-time positions because it is a 3-day-a-week course in the first 12 months. But I would say out of all of the students who enroll into the course, they actually all get a job. Probably about, I would say about 98% of them who want to work in industry get that position. So there are really good job opportunities, and you can also end up working overseas with this career as well. Marcy, shall I hand it back to you?
Yeah, sure. So obviously there have been some changes that have had to arise due to COVID-19 and some of the responses that we've had to have to various lockdowns or various restrictions. There are some changes that have arisen, but Katie, if you push on to the next slide, there's still a requirement for us, given that we are hands-on and practical in nature. We're literally setting you up so that you've got job skills ready to go. We haven't got just remote classes, for example. So our classes normally pre-COVID have been all face-to-face, really hands-on, making sure that we try and do as much as possible all the time on campus. But our classes since COVID have had to be changed. And I actually think, I'm a bit biased, but I actually think it's been changed and we've gotten the very, very best out of our course in a way that we actually didn't know that we could do prior to. And that goes across all our courses. So if you go to the next one, Katie, our classes before were all face-to-face, all in the classroom, just in a normal classroom area. But now we use what's kind of called a blended learning mode of delivery. And that means that across all courses, you're going to have both online and on-campus theory delivery. You're going to have a bit of theory, some resources. You're going to have activities to do, both face-to-face, so physical activities, but you also might have ongoing activities at home online on our student web or our Moodle program. You might attend webinars, complete discussion forums, go to a number of excursions, have incursions, do that kind of workshop learning where, as I mentioned before, you might do some theory learning one week and then be on campus the next week and really putting into practice all the things that we talked about, and hands-on practical classes. We do have some remote learning, so we use Microsoft Teams for anyone who's familiar, and you can see me working there at Teams, and you can also see my cat Buster, who is here today for classes because we're face-to-face this week, but who will also get in the way of everything that I'm trying to do when I'm teaching from home and purposely puts himself in front of the computer just to gain attention. Cool. So our on-campus classes, when we are on campus, are practical. We have structured activities. We have activities to help support your learning. We'll do mock assessments to make sure that you're ready to go. We'll break down the tasks into little tiny pieces to make sure that each step of the way you know what you're doing. Some theory classes, like I said, we've had incursions. So there's a photo there of an incursion taking place. We've had wonderful incursions this year across the board. So we've had Wild Action bring in a bunch of native mammals and reptiles and all sorts of amazing critters that you just don't get a chance to handle anywhere else. We've had people bring in chickens for one of our groups who's studying basic care of birds. So we try and make sure that we have a huge amount of access to people coming in, but also using our own animals as well. And basically, it's not your average classroom. So the top left photo, there are two students hydrobathing a dog in one of our classrooms. So we have our hydrobathing area. The top right photo is one of our students doing some behavioral things with a dog in one of our classrooms. And then, at the bottom there, we've got our classroom as well, where everyone's up and moving around. Here's one of our teachers, Chris, doing a grooming demonstration. So we might have you come in and have a bit of a masterclass about how to do something before you go and attempt it yourself after learning all of the theory about it. And here's our kennels at the Lilydale campus. So here's 5 great lab reasons to come to class. It was one of our Labrador days, unintentional. Everybody just seemed to have a Labrador that day. And when I say everybody, I mean students, because we have a possibility, as long as your animal is suitability approved, for you to bring dogs and cats in so that they can help us out with practicals and make sure that you and your peers can get through practicals like hydrobathing, health checking, assessing behavior, walking and exercising animals, providing treatments or simulated treatments for them, and a range of other units as well. So remembering that classes are mandatory to attend. So depending on whether you are attending 1 day a week or 2 days a week or whatever course you're in, you must be there because it is a practical course in nature. And so that we can't have you doing practical assessments or activities without knowing that you were there and you did the theory work as well. So why study at Box Hill Institute? Because you're going to have a heap of support. And I think that's what lots of people, or everybody, really needs when they're doing a course. As Katie mentioned, she's an animal tech. And so she is certainly an industry expert in her area. I'm a veterinary nurse. So you would be taught by me within some of the courses that I coordinate as well. We have a range of people who are just the top of their vocational areas. And you will be taught by those people in the course of your choice. We are really committed to making sure that you get that real industry experience. We don't just do things online. As I mentioned, we use that blended learning format because we really want you to be able to feel confident and comfortable when you go out into industry and perhaps are gaining employment within that industry, that you know what's going on, not because you've read about it in a textbook and that's all you've done, but because you've physically handled and been with the animals that were provided to you, and that you've been assessed really well on, can you do these tasks that you need to do in order to be that particular career or profession. So in terms of fees, there are tuition fees that are at a range of different levels. So there's government funded, there's concession, there's also full fee for service. Most people find their way into the government funded section, and that basically means that the government has paid a portion of your tuition and therefore the amount is decreased. If you have a concession card, it's further decreased and you would end up with the concession rate. Now that changes course to course. It depends on how long you're attending for, how many days you're attending for, how many units you're doing, and that can be found on our website, as can the course teaching materials, which again changes course to course. The ones that don't, though, are institute fees. So every year of a course, you pay roughly, definitely for 2022, it's going to be $166, and you pay that at the start of the year or in your payment plan, which we can access as well. But you only pay that once per year. And you also need to do a core skills diagnostic test. So that's $83 once per course enrollment. So if your course goes for 2 years, you don't repay that again. You just do that once. And then each course may or may not have retained course items, which means that they're physical things that you get to keep. For example, it might be a stethoscope, or it might be a scrub top, or it might be Pet Grooming gets like this amazing Bible of all the different dog grooms that you could potentially need to do. So how to do it and what they look like. Could be a first aid kit. Not each course will have them, but if they do, that's yours to keep. So that's something that you keep, you'll use during the course, but then you keep afterwards. So with regards to the new Certificate 2 Animal Care and Certificate 3 Animal Care Services course, those two are not up on the website at the moment in terms of the fees. However, they will be shortly. So at the receipt of your email saying, would you like to switch your inquiry or your application over to the new course, you'll be able to go onto the website at that point and be able to access the prices. They are fairly well going to stay within the rough amount that the current Certificate 2 RSPCA and Certificate 3 specializing in veterinary nursing or animal care are pitched at. So there's probably not going to be a huge change, but you'll be able to figure out to look at that before you kind of sign your life away and begin the rest of your enrollment.
So Claire's actually asked, is the enrolment date in July or February? And I've just asked for which course.
Yeah.
We're looking at doing, I think, February for Certificate 3 in animal studies. Not animal studies, sorry. It's still animal care.
Yeah.
The pet grooming of that certificate won't start until April, May. Companion will start in February. So Certificate 3 in animal studies, specializing in animal care, you're going to be directed into the new course, which is going to start in February. So that will be 2 days per week as opposed to 1. So that will be the brand new course that you'll be directed to.
And I'll just fit in, just to remind you, the Certificate 2 in Animal Care RSPCA, that first intake will be roughly March. So you'll get a bit of an idea of the date. It's just 1 month later.
If you're interested in Diploma of Animal Tech, that will start in February. The other one that we need to discuss that we didn't have a slide for, but that's okay, is Certificate 3 in Captive Animals. That course has actually also been superseded. So forgive me if I'm wrong. I'm going to stop sharing because I think we've finished, haven't we, Marcy?
Just one more, but you might want to talk about Captive first.
Oh, okay. We can talk Captive first. Yeah. That's fine. So as far as Captive is concerned, we're rolling into the brand new course. The intake for that will be July. So we're not going to have an intake until then. It will be 1 night a week, probably a Monday night, I would say, at this stage of things. I'm assuming at this stage it will probably last about 18 months because, as I said, we did 16 units out of over 12 months, and it's just very condensed. It's very intensive. So we don't want to stress our students out that much. So we're looking at lengthening the course a little bit. It is 100% remote and online. So there will be no incursions or anything like that when it comes to captive animals, which the new qualification is called Certificate 3 in Exhibiting Wildlife. And you will need to be working in a captive animal environment. So that could either be at one of our wonderful zoos, like Melbourne Zoo, Healesville Sanctuary, or Werribee. But we seem to cater for the smaller zoos, and that's where our niche has kind of lied for a long time now. So We're looking at places like Gumbaya World, which have their own mini zoo, places like Reptile Encounters, which go around to kindergartens and schools and educate children there, and also birthday parties. We deal a lot with Halls Gap Zoo, Ballarat Wildlife Sanctuary, and just those small, unique zoos that don't have, aren't as big as Melbourne Zoo and things like that. So you do have to be working at least 1 day a week in a captive animal environment, and you can't be working, if you are working at one of those places, you can't be working in a kiosk or anything along those. You have to be getting down and dirty, mopping out and shoveling out cages, and working with the keepers and designing exhibits and looking at housing and doing all those sorts of things, and perhaps a bit of behaviour and training with your animals and those sorts of things. So hopefully I've answered all the questions as far as the new captive animals is concerned. So exhibiting in wildlife, I need to get that down pat. I still haven't got that down pat yet, so I do apologise. How long do you have to be working in the industry before you can apply for captive? We suggest that you work for at least 6 months if possible. However, and our places for those people who have been working for a minimum of 6 months, we take those people first. However, if we do have places available, then we look at people who maybe haven't worked there a lot, but you will have to be signed off by your supervisor and things like that. So as long as they're prepared to sign you off and are happy, then we can actually look at taking you in. So it just really dependent on numbers, but certainly we've had people who have only been working in places, 4 and 5 weeks before they actually start the course. So it is, it doesn't necessarily have to be 6 months, but that experience certainly goes a long way to helping you out.
Katie, there's a question there from Michael, but we might just do the final slide and then I can recover some of the animal study stuff as well. So don't worry about that one. If that's okay, Michael, we'll just finish this up and then I'll certainly repeat because I know it's quite confusing. It's confusing for us. Awesome. So I just wanted to make a bit of a note here. So in order to return to campus after our most recent lockdown, the Victorian government has mandated that all adults attending adult education environments must be double COVID-19 vaccinated. So that means that all students enrolling into a course at Box Hill Institute in 2022 must be able to provide evidence of their double COVID-19 vaccination in order to progress through the enrolment stages. So that means that if you're in that kind of weird grey area where you've already applied for one of our old certificate 3s and you're looking to move to that new one, that might be something extra that they will ask you for if you indicate that you'd like to move into that new course. When you begin to start a new application, that should be something that's included within that, or student administration will reach out to you to speak to you. And just because we're talking about COVID safe education, I wanted to just let you know a few other things, like many areas that we're doing when we're on campus, just to make sure that everybody is as safe as possible and that we're doing the right thing. So we have a lot of checking in using QR codes into various buildings and rooms. We practice good hygiene, including hand hygiene and regularly washing and sanitizing our hands. We do that anyway because we're in an animal care environment and we want to make sure that we're not doing the wrong thing for infection control between our animals. We make sure that we have good external airflow and ventilation. We've been wearing face masks as mandated, and we've been staggering start, finish times and break times to reduce congestion. And we've also been trying to maintain physical distance between students and also employees. So when you're on campus, you may be in smaller groups rather than your entire group, things like that. Now I think that's the last one. Don't know.
Yeah. Thank you. Yep, that's it.
Awesome. So if that was kind of the end of what we wanted to discuss. Like I said, I'm happy to recover a few of the main questions that we've had about a bit of that difference between the old Cert 3 and the new Cert 3, and where the Cert 2 and the Cert 3 kind of similar and where they differ. If you've got other questions, please pop them in. Please feel free to hang around. I don't know if you can unmute yourself, but feel free to do that as well. Yes, I agree, Lucas. This is one of our teachers' dogs who's doing some good work at home, studying up, which is what we like all our students to do.
And I've just popped both Marcy and myself email address in there. So if you need to, you can contact us.
That one's mine. Sorry, I have a weird one.
Oh, okay. Ignore M. Connor.
The other one. But yes, please reach out.
All right. I'm just going to stop sharing, everybody. So
awesome. Amazing. So I'll wait for some other questions to come into the chat. Feel free to go if you've got everything that you need and you just need to get to the website and apply or inquire, or do nothing. If you've already inquired, you'll just hear from us. But in the meantime, I will answer Michael's question, which was along the line of when will a few things. When will applications be taken? And that was for Certificate 2. So, Michael, at the moment, the process is that you go to the RSPCA Victoria website and you inquire within their website. And from there, they then send a list over of those students who have made it to the top of their waiting list. They do have a wait list at this point in time, and it is first come, first serve. So basically what we do is we send out an initial, would you still like to enroll for this next intake, to those who have reached the top of the list. If they don't respond within a set period of time, or if they don't want to enroll, then everyone moves up. And so when you get to the top, you will be contacted by our admin area. So if you make sure that you jump onto the RSPCA Victoria and do that, then they will get that and they'll send it over once you reach the top. And if you give me a minute, I will find the website for you.
So Siobhan, you actually should be, because you've sent in an application for the old course, you shouldn't need to reapply. Student recruitment should actually contact you to change that for you.
Yes, exactly. They definitely will. I spoke to them even today just to double check if it was going to be a text or an email. It's definitely an email. We're just waiting for the final kind of finances on our side, the little last things that we need to do before we pop it live on the website. And then at that point, that's when they will contact you and they will let you know exactly what you need to do to make sure that you either pipeline into this new course or make some changes. You know, if there's another course that Katie's talked about today that you kind of go, oh, that's actually more my scene, then they will provide you the opportunity to change into that as well. Lucas, yes, good question. So does it matter whether you start with the Cert 2 or the Cert 3? Just pick one that's right for you. It doesn't matter. Sometimes it's good to have a think about whether you know which direction you want to go in, so what's right for you. But it really doesn't matter. They are a different level of course. So the Certificate 2 is obviously a lower level than the Certificate 3. And so say for veterinary nursing, that actually has no effect at all. You just need to do a Certificate 2 or higher animal orientated course. But if you are not sure where you want to go, maybe not vet nursing, but you want to do the higher level course, then that might be pushing you towards the Cert 3 or for any of those other reasons that I mentioned. So it really is individual. If you're really not sure, put an application in for both and see which one comes up first. That's certainly one way to do it. There's really no wrong way to choose. I think both, I coordinate both courses and I think they're both fantastic. And sometimes it really is which one can you get into and which one are you happy to do for your next course. Yeah.
I'm just answering Samara's
Sure.
thing now. So
and I can answer Jess's, so I'll do that verbally for you, Jess. So Certificate 2 for animal studies, so the RSPCA version. Basically what happens is at the start is a 16-week course. For the first 5 weeks, you do 2 days per week. Historically, those are Mondays and Tuesdays, but we give you your set days with lots of notice and we let you know. And you do attend those either face-to-face or online, depending on the setup of the course at the time. So that's what happens for the first 5 weeks. So you do maybe Monday, Tuesday for 5 weeks straight. Those are all what we call your teaching sessions. After that, in those final kind of 11 weeks, you start to undertake either study group sessions to make sure that you're doing your assessments and practical sessions, of which there are 7. And during orientation for this course, you get to select out of a number of dates given to you what suits you in terms of your work life or your responsibilities that you've got outside of this. Those dates are selected. The teaching sessions are set in stone because everyone comes all together. So I can't give you exact dates at this point, but as you enroll, you will get all of the teaching dates and they will be given to you. And then you are able, if you're working full-time, for example, which a lot of people do, they're then able to put in for leave or whatever it is that they're doing with their workplace. Mia. Oh, no, sorry.
No, I answered Mia.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Sorry, the chat is jumping. I can't quite.
So Mia asked about being sent an enrolment package.
Oh,
I said to her if she's waited more than 4 weeks, I would contact them again. So give them a call, perhaps on the 1300 number. For those of you who are still waiting to hear back, hopefully you'll hear soon, or it may not be with being so close to Christmas and how chaotic the end of this year has once again been due to COVID restrictions. You may find that it might be early January.
I think it will be in this year though, because I actually just before we came in here did the last little tick off for something before the next step happens. So I really think it will be towards the end of this week or start of next week. And just keep in mind our student admin area, they do reduce, I think, in staff, but they are actually open on the days that are not public holidays. So while there may be some areas of the institute that are not around, they will be reachable to a certain extent. Cool. Was that all the questions? If I've missed one?
Yes, we've answered all the questions so far between you and I.
Excellent. So. All right, cool. So again, if there are other questions, please ask them. If there aren't, we will not be offended if you go now. We have no problem sticking around to talk. If you need a minute to think, that's fine too.
And if you do leave and then there's a question that you feel you need to ask, we did put our email addresses up. Worst case scenario, just call the 1300 number over the next couple of days and ask for the animal studies area, and they'll put you through to our wonderful admin team who will help you out, direct phone calls, email us to get that information and all of that sort of stuff. So they'll be very helpful for you.
Definitely. Awesome. Great to hear, Lucas. I'll see you hopefully next year.
Maybe he wants to do pet grooming, Marcy, and not animal care.
Sorry. Could be. Doesn't matter. We won't fight over you now, Lucas.
No, that'll come later.
Awesome. Oh, Samara, so the Certificate 3 currently on the website has the animal care version and the veterinary nursing version. Likely the new Certificate 3 in animal care studies is going to be a pretty similar cost, but it's not up yet. So when you get that initial message from student recruitment that says, hey, would you like to change your application? Then at that point, you'll know that it's live on the website and you can double check. I can't give you an exact figure right now, but we've tried to do it. It's really similar, even though it's much more time consuming, I guess, face-to-face days and also the extra units. We wanted to make sure that it was still really attainable and still a really good price. So you can use that as a bit of a base for now.
So nothing happened to the bird. She's just decided to be quiet for a little bit.
Hello, Echo.
So Echo does come to class for our bird class.
Our bird unit, yeah.
She's a good girl. She's saying good girl to me in my ear.
Is she? Oh, cute.
Yeah. Excellent. Thank you, Jess.
See you guys.